Hey again, buddy. Welcome back to the CD Exchange. I'm here with Larry Graves, the Canadian Studmuffin, Brian Massey, Massey's Maine Entertainment, Randall Nelson, and Glen Kellaway from the basement. Glad to have these guys back. We're on a new gig where we're taking one album and giving four opinions of it. This week was my turn to suggest something, and I went with Mudcrutch, the Tom Petty sort of side project band, 2008. There it is.
Oh,
I
great.
have it as well. I just wanted the guys to hear it because they weren't all familiar with it. And of course, Tom Petty originally had a band, Mudcrutch, before the Heartbreakers came in, and success with the Heartbreakers in the mid 2000s. He decided to reconnect with a couple guys, bring him in. He already had Mike Campbell and Benmont Tench, part of the Heartbreakers, and brings in Randall Marsh on drums and Tom Ledden, or Bernie Ledden's brother, and the rest is history. Mudcrutch, pretty interesting album, more country than rock, but a hybrid kind of album. And I'd like to get the guy's opinion. Today's order is Brian, Randy, Larry. So Brian, what do you think? Kick it off.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
You may.
Randy held up Mudcrutch 2.
I don't think so.
No, he didn't.
Freaked me out.
No, that's Mudcrutch too.
Eh?
This is Mudcrutch too.
Yeah, that's the one you just held up, isn't it?
No, I held up this one.
Okay, maybe it's just different. I didn't know it had two different covers. That's weird. Look at my cover.
Huh.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I got up and I thought, oh my God, I looked at the wrong album, but it's the one that. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
apologies.
Sorry about that. Yeah, that
Cover
clarifies that.
Okay.
We learned.
All right,
something.
Brian, what do you got?
Well, I'm a big fan of Tom Petty. So, I had already heard the band because I'm also a big Western fan, and it was featured as the end credit song on the movie Appaloosa with Ed Harris and Viggo Mortensen, Jeremy Irons. Actually, a very good Western if anybody wants to check it out.
Yeah.
So I discovered the band that way and had listened to the album, several years ago because of that. So this was like a second listen for me, which I'm kind of glad that I did because I really, really, really enjoyed the album. I love the traditional song opener, Shady Grove, which is an Appalachian folk song about, courtship and things like that, and basically love. I love the flavors of guitar in it, a kind of nice mixture of guitar and pedal steel and, almost like a banjo type of sound as well.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, "Scare Easy" is the song that's actually on the soundtrack for Appaloosa. Really gritty barroom blues rock song. I love the lyric that it sticks with me all the time is "I'm just a loser at the top of my game."
I like that too.
Yeah, that's a really great lyric that kind of starts the second verse to the song. Actually, the first 5 songs on this are actually pretty strong. If anything, though, the Crystal song, because Crystal River,
Yeah.
maybe a little too long. I think the first 5 minutes of it was really good, and then like it seemed to drone on a bit, but it was still a good song. "Orphan of the Storm," very honky tonkish tune. Love the pedal steel guitar in it. That was like the third track. And then they do a cover of Dave Dudley's "6 Days on the Road." I'm not sure. Did Steve Earle also do a cover of that song as well? I feel like he did that on the Guitar Town CD that he
He
had.
may have. I'm not aware of.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. I'm not really 100% sure. I love the piano in it, though. I think it's really good. It's just a really fun song. And then the last song I wanted to mention was "Lover of the Bayou," which I played that one over and over again. I thought that was like toward the end of the CD, and I just thought it was a really great track. I gave the album an overall 8.0. I thought it was solid. I love the flavor of heartland rock and blues rock and country, and even the traditional twanginess of it didn't bother me at all. Just a really good piece of music from Tom and the boys. So 8.0.
That's really impressive. Very nice. All right, Glenn, what do you think?
I don't know what it is about this album. I have had it since pretty much the day it was released, and I very rarely play it. And it's not because I don't like it. I like it, but it just kind of I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's certain songs I really love on it. Like Brian mentioned that the opener Shady Grove is one of my favorite. I'm going to call it a bluegrass song because a lot of
Yeah.
bluegrass bands cover it. And the Amazing Cosmic Torpedoes even covered it.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just love that song. The whole minor chord thing. It's in a D minor tuning. That song's played. Everybody plays it the same way, and it's just got a really cool sound to it. And it, like I said, it's one of my favorite bluegrassy tunes. So incredible opener. Next song was "Scare Easy." It's a good tune. Then it goes into a more country stuff with "The Orphan of the Storm." Pretty much a total country tune. I love "6 Days on the Road" because it's another classic song that a lot of people do. It was a big country rock song for all the bands in the '60s. Were covering that song, and then that's that and "Shady Grove" are my favorite two songs on the album. I agree. Also, "Crystal River." For as much as I really like long songs, that one's too long.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And then there's like a boogie song, a boogie guitar. "This Is a Good Street." Wrong thing. Wrong Thing to Do. I think the next song was a really good track for me too. And "June Apple," which is a fiddle tune, traditional Irish fiddle tune, which is played by a lot of banjo players and fiddle players. Instrumental on the album, I love too. "Lover of the Bayou," Brian mentioned, which was a Birds song covered. The Birds used to do that all the time, so that's where that came from. And as much as I think it's a strong album and it's a fun album, I don't rank it as highly because I just don't listen to it for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give it a 7.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right, Randy, you're up third.
All right. I thought it was a rather laid back affair with some fine country rock, some Americana, some kind of a couple of rockers, and then some bluesy traditional sounding songs. And so I'll get to the things that I didn't care for it too much. Just 9-minute Crystal River, I thought was too long as well. That's probably longer than any Tom Petty track on any of his albums, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
I would say so. Yeah.
It could have been tightened up. It's like jamming without guitar jamming, but it was, I don't know. And I'm gonna have to disagree with Glen on one thing, is that I didn't really care for their take on the Dave Dudley hit 6 Days on the Road. I like the Flying Burrito Brothers version of that better than this one. I don't know. But and the two songs not sung by Petty. "This Is a Good Street" with Benmont Tench singing, and "Queen of the Go-Go Girls" with Tom Glen singing. I didn't think their voices were distinctive enough, and I know he wants to share the spotlight with some others, but I think they actually do better on the second one as far as their singing. But I thought these couple were not kind of nondescript. Now I did like his Tom Liddon's singing the first verse in "Shady Grove." I thought he did a pretty good job in that part.
Yeah.
Which that's a song I play a lot by Doc Watson. I really like Doc Watson's version, but I thought they did a really good job on this one. "Scare Easy" was a pretty cool tune. I like that. This is "My love is an ocean, you better not cross it." It's kind of like he's a loser in love, singing about these things. And I thought it was right. I really did like the country-ish "Orphan of the Storm," which deals with Hurricane Katrina, and I really like Tom's laid-back vocals on that. "June Apple," I didn't know it was. To me, it had a kind of a Birds feel when I was listening to that, and then he goes right into the Birds song "Lover of the Bayou," which is probably the rockingest song on there, and one that I think they do a great job on. It's kind of a cover they make their own. And then the last tune, "House of Stone," which is kind of a Americana country tune, but his inflection on that is almost like Hank Williams. Like if you've heard him sing the "Lonesome Highway," I can't remember what he did that on, but he sings that Hank Williams tune, and his voice sounds just like that on this tune as well, which I really like. And it's got some cool piano and mandolin picking on it. So overall, I give it a 8.25. I actually like the second one more than the first one. I like this one more.
Good.
Wow.
I do.
Nice.
I think.
All right, Larry Graves. I'm interested to hear your take.
Well, the first time the first song, Shady Grove, first time I heard it, it's like, this isn't going to go well because I'm not a big fan of bluegrass. But the first listen through, I thought it was just okay. And it was, even then I was thinking of a rating. The music obviously is good. And I like Tom Petty and his vocals and the variety in the songs. But I was going to give it like a 7. But as always, I think one rule, I think we all go by is we have to listen to an album at least twice, right?
I agree.
Like one time isn't enough.
It's not enough.
But 2, I can understand 2 is enough. If you don't get it by the second time, I understand that. But the second listen, I really enjoyed it. I even enjoyed Shady Grove, the opening track.
Okay.
And unlike everybody else, I like the Crystal River, the way it's stretched out. It's kind of like a Neil Young kind of when he stretches out. The other songs I loved the most were Queen of the Go-Go Girls, June Apple, the instrumental, the 2 Rocky tracks, Lover of the Bayou and Bootleg Flyer. I love those. And Topananga Cowgirl. Is that how you pronounce
Topanga.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. I really like that. So overall, and can you show the picture that I sent you, Rich?
On the phone, I don't know how to splice it in.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do it here. Present slides, your computer, upload file. Let's see here. Oh, it says invalid. But anyway, I ordered both albums.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He sent me a message through Facebook, and one's arriving Sunday and the other one's arriving today by 10 o'clock. So he's getting both.
Oh, wow.
Mudcrutch 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Well, be interested to see what you think of the second one because I thought they.
Yeah, I've read that most people were disappointed with the second one, but I don't care. I bought it anyway. But you guys are saying you seem to like it even more.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yeah,
I like the first one. They're close. They're real close.
Yeah, I would give it an 8.5.
Wow.
The highest one.
Good.
Yeah.
Good
So
ratings.
all you guys ranked it higher than even I would for Glen. Glen had a 7.2. I just marked it in my I'm keeping a database a la Sam St. John for my yearly listens, and I gave it a 7.5, even though I had heard it before. I found it a little too much country-ish and not rocking hard like the Heartbreakers do. So I'd forgotten that when it's been a couple of years since I listened to it. So it may have gone down in my ranking. I think I may have had it at an 8. Now it's a 7.5. I just want to say that my 4 favorite songs on here, my Mount Rushmore of Mudcrutch. Scare Easy, I think, is a wonderful song. Orphan of the Storm, Lover of the Bayou, and Topanga Cowgirl. I really like the Topanga Cowgirl song. It just it has that nice melody, and it works for me for what I love. But all the other songs are really good. The one thing I do agree on is that Crystal River stretched out. It's 9 minutes is way too long. I would say 5.5 to 6 would be max for that song, and they just look too long. But that's their prerogative.
Well,
they're the artists.
Like nothing interesting was happened for the 9 minutes. That's the thing. I don't mind. I love a 9-minute song if there's something
Exactly.
good guitar break or something. But it just seemed like they were just going along like.
That's a good point. That's.
I don't know what they were trying to stretch it out so they could charge for a double album. I don't know. I mean, what is that? I mean, that just seemed like what the deal was. It's, you could take that back and then you cut 2 minutes off another song and you got a single album instead of a double album.
Yeah.
I mean,
see, when Neil Young does a stretched out 9-minute song like Cowgirl in the Sand, it works because he's giving you different flares of the guitar and you know what I mean? It's just different. This monotone in a lot of ways. But that's just a mini Picayune kind of criticism. But anyway, that was interesting. You liked it way more than I thought. I had some trepidation going in, thinking Larry may be coming down hard on me, and Brian, I thought he
You
would
hate it. No, he ordered both. Pretty cool.
I couldn't have been more wrong than that. So that's awesome. All right, next week it's going to be Brian stepping up to the plate, and he'll recommend an album for us. What's it going to be, Brian?
All right, guys. So let me apologize in advance. I know that, for some of you, this is not going to be your flavor, but I feel like it's an important album. Came out in 1997. It was their third studio album, produced by Nigel Godrich, and it is considered on Rate Your Music. It's the number 2 album of all time, according to their ratings, and that's with over 80,000 ratings, people voting in. And and I think the best telling review I read was it's an album that at least gave alternative rock a path forward through the late 90s into the 2000s, when, let's face it, pop music was absolutely abysmal on the radio in the late 90s. So there wouldn't have been a spot for them to go. So I'm going to give everybody this is OK Computer by Radiohead. Tom York and the Boys. I think it's a really important record that requires multiple listens to really get into. And I just would be curious to see what all you guys think, good or bad.
Glenn, I think you'll like.
Well, we'll see.
Yep.
I have an
open mind here
for Radiohead until I listened to that band. They did The Smile. They put out that album The Smile this year, which I really liked.
When they did the band Smile.
I get curious, maybe I would like Radiohead more than I thought. So this will be my introduction, kind of.
Yeah. And I'm completely new to it too. I've dabbled with it before and couldn't get through the first 3 songs, but now I'm forced to listen to all 12 songs and form an opinion. Listen to it twice. So
listen to it twice.
Yes.
Got to listen to it twice in total. None of this quitting on it. So, Randy, your background with this, have you heard it before?
No, I have like 3 Radiohead albums, but I've heard good things about it, but it's kind of like, I like some of the Radiohead ones I have, but they're not my favorite or anything.
Right. All right, so that'll be next week when we meet again. Glenn will try and be prompt as usual.
I will write it down somewhere that that's Friday.
Friday, 11:30, 11:15, if you want to come in and chat. Glad to have you. Anyway, subscribe to all the guys. I'll have a hello to their channels: Randy Nelson, Brian, Massey's Maine Entertainment, Glen Kellaway, Larry Graves, the Canadian Studmuffin, all great guys with great channels. Also, I have a Spotify link to the album we did today, Mudcrutch. So if you're unfamiliar with it, hit the Spotify link. It'll take you there, and you can listen to it and decide for yourself. So for all the guys, this is Rich. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week. Take care. Bye.